guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a full face of my Holy Grails part 2. So I did a video like this a few months back. You guys really loved it. I loved filming it because I always love talking about products that I'm like obsessed with because I just feel such a huge passion for these products. So I love showing them to you guys, showing you guys how they perform on camera so that you can see why I love them so much. I feel like I could do a video like this honestly like every month just because I have so many Holy Grail products, even just like outside of this video as well, just like because I'm always testing out new products and there's so many great things out there, especially drugstore of course and high-end stuff that I do like to throw in the mix. So also I want to give a big thank you to Haley's Beauty for sponsoring today's video. I am so incredibly grateful to be working with them again. We hosted a huge giveaway in November which was very successful and I love this brand. I have been raving about them, you guys know that, and so I love being able to work with brands that I already love, that I already talk about on my channel. It's just so special to me. Of course you guys know I only work with brands that I genuinely love, and this brand I love is like an understatement. I am obsessed with them. I love their complexion products. I really do believe in this brand, so I'm really excited to be working with them today. So currently Haley's Beauty has all complexion products only. Their products are paraben free, sulfate free, vegan, and cruelty free as well. They are currently sold of course online and at some Targets, so definitely be on the lookout at your local Target for their products. If you do decide to order online, they did give me a coupon code. If you use my code JUICY, you get $5 off your order, so definitely check that out. I will leave it in the description box below. And something else that I really love is that each of their complexion products actually have skincare benefits in them as well. I always say skincare is more important than makeup because of course that is your base, that is like everything. And I have a very special place in my heart for the founder of Haley's Beauty. Her name is Ashley. She is actually a chemist, and that hits really close to home because Hector actually went to school for biochemistry. He does chemistry at his job, so shout out to all my chemists out there. Overall, like I said, I love this brand and I am super happy with it, and hopefully if you guys do try out this brand, you love it just as much as I do. So I will leave a link down below. Remember to check out your local Target, and I will also leave my coupon code if you guys are interested in the description box if you do decide to order online. So of course don't forget to grab a snack and let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, here we go. Fresh face, no makeup, let's do the brows. So I'm gonna start off with my Joa Precision Brow Pencil. If you guys watched my November favorites, you guys know that I have been using this non-stop, and I know it's like super boring, but you know, having a good brow pencil is a must. So I'm just going to quickly just outline my brows and spoolie through them a little bit. And this one is in the shade Black Brown, and I love this color. It's like not too dark, not too light. It's perfect. Also, if you guys do watch vlogs, I am doing Vlogmas this year. So basically I'm going to be vlogging every single day from December 1st until Christmas. So if you guys do like follow me around type videos, definitely check out my vlog channel. I will link it down below so you guys can subscribe. For pomade, I'm going to use my e.l.f. pomade. I cannot stop using this ever since, I don't even know when, but I cannot put this down. So this is actually specifically called their brow and liner cream. So good. So I'm just using an angled brow brush. This one is from Equate. I talked about this also in my November favorites, and I'm just filling in the rest of my brows. And I actually have a new trick that I don't know why I never discovered this before, but to clean up my brows, I'm going to show you guys. I've been loving it. So you guys know I've been using my NARS Soft Matte Concealer to clean up my brows probably for like over 2 years at this point. Like I love that concealer. I recently ran out of it, and the color that I have is a little too dark for me at the moment. So I was at Ulta and I was with my friend Danielle, and one of the girls mentioned to just use a stick foundation to clean up your brows, and I was like, that's genius. Like, why did I never think of that? Because stick foundations are a little bit thicker, obviously, than just like a liquid foundation or a regular concealer. If you just take a stick foundation, dip your brush in, you can basically get the same effect as using like, let's say like the NARS concealer in a jar kind of thing. So that's what I've been doing lately, and I've been loving it. So I've been using my ColourPop No Filter Stick Foundation. This one's in the shade Medium 90W, and I feel like it's just perfect for cleaning up the brows. Basically what I do is I just take a small little concealer brush. This one's from Olimar, and I'm just going to dip right into the foundation, and then of course you get the product on there, and then you can just clean up the brows. It's like genius. And this is a little trick, which I mean, I'm sure maybe a lot of you guys already do something like this if you do clean up your brows, but I don't know why I never thought of it. Like I always felt like you needed a separate like concealer in a jar for it to work, but this works, I feel like, just as good, if not better. Okay, maybe the concealer is like a smidge too yellowy for me right now, but it's gonna work out once I do my foundation and everything. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and prime my lids. Believe it or not, this is one of the best eyeshadow primers that I've ever tried, and it's only $1. It's from Shop Miss A. I just love this brand because everything is $1 and a lot of their stuff is actually really, really good. Like, don't underestimate them. So their eyeshadow primer specifically, I think, is just really nice because it makes your shadows last. Kind of like an Urban Decay primer potion. So it's not going to completely conceal like veins or anything, but it's just gonna give you that perfect base for your eyeshadow. Now for eyeshadow palette, this was a challenge for me because I do have quite a few favorite eyeshadow palettes, drugstore, high-end, and like, you know, ColourPop and stuff. I love their palettes, but I was looking through my collection and I was like, you know what, I gotta shout this palette out again. I know that I raved about it a lot in the summer, but I really feel like this is like a go-to palette for like anybody. So this is the Folkular Beauty Endless Possibilities palette. It just looks like this. Folkular Beauty is really nice because they have a lot of really great dupes for high-end eyeshadow palettes at a really great price, of course. So this is what it looks like. You get some really great neutrals, pops of color, and some mattes, some shimmers. So this is what I'm going to be using today. I also have been really obsessed with my Tati Beauty palette, so I might dip into this a little bit as well, but I wanted to give you guys another option just because I know this is currently like on pre-order, so it's not like relatively available. So I'm going to start off with the cream shade right here. I'm just going to be applying that all over the lid just to set my primer. I'm gonna go into this shade right here as my neutral blending color. I actually haven't really played with this palette all that often. Like, it was definitely like my go-to more so in the summer, but I started using a couple more of the transition colors like a few days ago, and I forgot like how good the palette is. I feel like with shadows, I'm always like swapping out my eyeshadow palettes and using different ones. I could probably do a video if you guys are interested on my favorite eyeshadow palettes because I feel like there's so many. Like, I debated using this one or just my Tati one, or even like some ColourPop shadows that I have, but I just decided to use this one just because I feel like this is another like really great underrated brand for eyeshadows. I haven't used all of the colors in this palette, but from what I did use, the shadows are really great. I mean, I don't doubt that the other ones are great as well, just because they're mattes and like the shimmers that I did use, they're super, super nice. And I've used other palettes from them as well, which are great. This is just like a really great, like just warm transition color, which I am building up, and I'm using my BH Cosmetics brush. This collection that they have, I believe it's called their Marble collection. This is such a great makeup brush kit. If they have it, I will link it for you guys down below, but it is amazing. Like, I love BH Cosmetics brushes. I think if you're a beginner in makeup, if you just want bomb makeup brushes like for the holidays as a Christmas gift or something, they're so, so good. I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is like a really beautiful berry color. I'm just going to apply that right on the outer crease. I'm using a Sigma E25 blending brush. A lot of these colors too, what's really nice about them is like, I've used a lot of the mattes in here, but you can't really tell just because there's not a whole lot of fallout with this. I mean, of course, I'm like super heavy-handed, so sometimes I do get more fallout than other times, but the shadows, they're super creamy. They're not like very powdery. This formula, I feel like it's different. It's amazing. I'm gonna go into this shade right here, and I'm just gonna apply that in my crease just to blend out the edges. So I'm using a different blending brush. This one's from Moda, and I'm just gonna take that and just run that orangey color right in the crease. Perfect. I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is called Treasure. It's like a really beautiful bronzed copper shade. And I'm just gonna pack that color on the inner third of my lid. A little pop. I'm debating if I want to use some glitter today. I have to think about it. I don't know. I don't know, like, I'm kind of like, I like how fiery this is looking, but I don't know if I'm loving like the way that the colors are kind of contrasting against each other. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of this pink shimmer shade up here, and I'm gonna kind of add that in there and see what that does. You guys know I don't really plan my looks. I kind of just go with it a lot of the times, and I just hope for the best. I'm using a different Alamar brush, spraying that, and I'm gonna kind of pack that on. Oh yeah, I like that more. Should we do some pink glitter since we have like a fiery crease? Let's do it. So I'm gonna go into the Tati Beauty palette and I'm just gonna pick up the pink glitter right up top here. You could totally use glitter glue. I personally don't feel the need to use glitter glue whenever I'm using the Tati glitters. I feel like they're just that pigmented and vibrant on their own. But if you are a glitter glue kind of person, the NYX glitter primer is personally my favorite. Okay, so I'm gonna just take that. Just kind of start with like a little bit of product at a time because I am so heavy-handed and I don't want like a ton of fallout. Oh yeah, this is perfect. I love this so much better than the other lid shade that I had on first. So I'm so glad that I went in with that light pink. Oh, I used a little too much on this eye. It's like falling everywhere, but it's still really pretty as you can see. Just really takes your look to the next level. I'm gonna take a little bit of this cool tone brown just right on the outer crease, just a little bit. I'm using a small little ColourPop blending brush and I'm gonna just kind of add that ever so lightly. I'm gonna do a quick coat of mascara. I'm gonna pop on some lashes. I'm not really sure which ones I wanna do. I have like a whole dedicated video on my favorite lashes if you guys are interested. So I'm gonna kind of play around with different styles and see what looks best with this look. And then of course I will let you guys know what I use. I'll leave it in the description box and then we'll move into the skin. So I'll be right back. Okay, I have one lash on. This lash was giving me a little bit of a hard time because my eye was like watering like crazy because I kind of stabbed it when I was doing my tight line. So I just set the lash aside for a little bit and we're gonna let that dry and then I'm gonna pop it on. But let's just take a moment and appreciate false lashes. I mean, look at the difference. Like, it's insane. So I went with these Scandal lashes in the style Forbidden Fling. I love this style specifically whenever I'm doing a look with no winged liner. I just love the way that it looks with like a smoky eye. They're very voluminous, very full, and they just really bring the look together, as you can see. Now we can move into the face. So I'm gonna start off by priming. I'm gonna use my Catrice Hydrating Prime and Care Spray, just as like my primer water. These sprays smell so good. Catrice, they have really great primer and setting sprays. I always talk about them. Now primers, I have quite a few little things to mention. So first, my holy grail primer that I love is the Smashbox Photo Finish Oil and Shine Control Primer. This is like a new one because my other one is like completely out. I think this is really more ideal if you have combo or super oily skin. I love this for my T-zone, specifically my forehead. My makeup lasts all day. I don't have to touch it up. My face doesn't get oily until maybe like 8, 9, 10 hours sometimes. Like, it's really a great long wearing primer for my oily skin people out there. I also love the Fenty Soft Silk Pro Filter Hydrating Primer. I don't know if you can really tell that I've been using it. I just like shook it up, so that's probably why. I have maybe used about like this much right here, which is crazy because I've had this since the summer and I do use a lot. So it does last a very long time, so it is expensive, but it is very long lasting. This feels like a super nice gel moisturizer, and then when you apply it, it's basically like a moisturizer, but it makes your makeup last all day, which is like my favorite thing about it. But like, it feels really great. So like for me in the winter, like I said, I like to keep my skin nice and hydrated. So it's really nice in that aspect because your face just feels good when you're putting on your foundation over top. Doesn't fill in your pores or anything though, so if you have larger pores, you might have to use something else, but it's amazing. Sometimes I will mix this with my Smashbox one just because, like I said, the Smashbox one is really good for oil, so I like to use a little bit of this right on the forehead because the forehead for me is a pain and it tends to get very oily. Oh, let's pop on this lash. And the glue is going to dry. Another primer that I wanted to mention is the Smashbox Primer Oil. This is really great for my dry skin people out there. Now, like I said, I have combo skin, but I really like this specifically whenever I'm using a more thicker or like a more matte foundation because it just makes the product go on more so a little bit less matte and more like very full coverage, but very like creamy, like butter on the skin. So I'm starting off with my Hailey's Beauty Reset Liquid Matte Foundation. I love everything about this foundation. foundation, the packaging. This is a really great mixing foundation. I like to mix this in with a lot of my luminous foundations, and I really like using this with foundations that I don't really love on their own, because I feel like with this, I just end up loving it so much more. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of their complexion products do have skincare benefits, so I will leave the specific skincare benefit of this foundation right here, which I think is amazing. This gives you really great medium coverage. It is buildable, lasts all day, and if you have oily skin, you will love this because it does have a matte finish. So today specifically, I am going to mix this in with the Reform Liquid Luxe Luminous Foundation, and this is a newer favorite that I discovered kind of towards like the end-ish of November, middle of November. This has a really beautiful luminous finish, really great coverage as well. So again, if you have combo dry skin, I feel like you will love it. So I like to just mix the two right on the back of my hand, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a little bit of my Smashbox primer oil, and then just with my finger, I am applying this everywhere. And honestly, I feel like mixing both of these foundations, I don't really have to build it up. It gives me just like really great full coverage right off the bat. Whereas like on their own, the foundations are more medium coverage. So mixing them enhances the coverage as well. Look at that. I swear, like I tell you guys this all the time, but their products, they feel like they have like a smoothing filter in them. Like when you put them on, it's like incredible. Like I can't even describe it. I've never had products that make your skin look this smooth and this like porcelain. I feel like in person the color definitely looks better on me versus on camera, but you already know we're gonna make it work. I'm gonna bronze my skin, add concealer, all of that. And I have two gorgeous little spots up here that need to be covered, and I'm actually using the Hailey's Beauty sponge, which I love. If you love the Beauty Blender, this is a really great dupe for it, like because it's just like that traditional like Beauty Blender black sponge. It's just like that teardrop shape. So this is what the foundation looks like. You can just see it gives my skin the most like natural airbrush soft finish. It's not like overly matte, and it's not overly luminous and dewy as well. It's just a very natural finish, but you can just see that coverage is amazing. I feel like mixing the matte and the luminous foundation, you kind of just get the best of both worlds. So I love both of these together and on their own. I don't know what it is with me lately. I just really have been enjoying mixing my foundations. I feel like I just get like a more flawless finish. I don't know. I've been loving it. Now for concealer, I'm going to use the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Concealer. This one is in the shade Light 50W, and I like to mix that with the medium 90W as well. So medium 90W is more of like a natural color for me, and then light 50 gives me a little bit more of like that bright highlighted look, which I love. So I've been mixing these two. I also wanted to mention Hailey's Beauty does have their Revive Concealer Cream. This for me is more of like a no makeup day kind of concealer. It's very natural, it's very fresh, it's very pretty on the skin, but since today I have such a dramatic makeup look going on, I'm going for something a little bit more full coverage, so that's why I'm using the ColourPop one. But this is a really great alternative if you want some really good natural luminous medium coverage. I'm going to start off with the ColourPop one, and like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of 90W first, and then I'm going to use 50W over top. Then I'm going to use the same sponge just to blend that out. And also, I know I just did a video on like my favorite drugstore foundations. I almost was going to talk about the Hailey's Beauty foundations, but I know that it's not available to everyone at every single Target. That's why I didn't mention it. But like I said, if you can get it at your local Target, definitely try it out. If not, it's definitely worth ordering online for. So let me quickly apply powder and then take off this foundation on my lips because I know that it looks so gross, but I'm going to get some more product on it after I do the powder. So let's do that quickly. You guys already know I'm going to go in with my Hailey's Retouch Perfect Loose Setting Powder. I'm sure I sound like a broken record at this point, you guys, but I feel like I need to be like a spokeswoman for this powder. It's so good. And I love the fact that there's just one shade, so it's universal for everyone. And I like to always refer to this powder as an Instagram filter in a container because that's truly what it is. So I like to apply it with a sponge or with a brush. Honestly, either way, it looks flawless. Today, I'm just going to use it with the sponge. And I like to start from the outer corner to the inner corner and just press it in. It is so smoothing, you guys. Like, I cannot get over it. It also looks great in pictures, so it's like a perfect like everyday powder because it's super lightweight and it's not like dry or powdery, or it could be like a special occasion powder too, just because you're not going to get that crazy white cast, and it just really smooths out your skin. So of course I like to set the majority of my under eyes with the powder, but then with the excess product, I'll just set the rest of my face. Now the moment we've all been waiting for. Sometimes I don't mean to like put on product on my lips. It kind of just ends up happening, but yeah, sorry you had to look at that. And now I'm gonna go ahead and set my brows quickly just because they are pretty powdery as you can see. So I'm gonna use my e.l.f. Brow Wow Tinted Brow Gel, and this one is in the shade Black. This is such a great brow mascara. Ever since I started using this, I don't remember when, but I feel like it was back in like September, August, I cannot put it down. Since we are kind of like on the eye area, let's finish up the lower lashes quickly. I think for the lower lashes, I'm just gonna do a little bit of this shade. I'm just going to use a definer brush. This one's from Sigma, just to like really press down that burgundy shadow. And then I'll blend it out. I'm just gonna kind of smudge that out. Have a new favorite mascara. It's the Profusion Lash Out Loud Length and Volume Mascara. It just looks like this. I just used this the other day, well, maybe like two and a half weeks ago, and it's very, very dark, which I really like. So I'm gonna do a quick coat. I just love how black and voluminous it is. For the waterline, I'm going to use the ColourPop BFF Cream Gel Liner. This one is in the shade Insomniac. It's just like a really pretty pink. These are great for the waterline, for a pop of color. I think I'm going to use this. I might use this color too. I might mix it. I'm going to start off with this color though. Do we like the pink? I think I kind of want to use the orange actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over top with a different color. This one is in the shade Puppy, which is like so cute. It's like an orangey kind of shade. I feel like it's going to match well with the crease color. Oh yeah, I like this a little bit more. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing to the other eye. I'm gonna start with the pink just so that it looks the same, and then I'll go over with the puppy shade. And it just really kind of adds that extra pop to like a basic look, because at the end of the day, this look, it's like super simple, but then you add that to the waterline and it just makes it like a little more, you know, spicy. Now we can do the rest of the face. So I'm gonna be like super boring and basic and just use my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, which you guys have seen me use a million times, but I cannot get enough of this bronzer. It's probably one of the best ones that I've ever tried, like ever. You just can't go wrong with the butter bronzer. So I have mine in the shade Deep. It's amazing. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. pointed powder brush just to add some color back to the face. Gives me just like that perfect bronze look. Like it just looks like brown, like a brown kind of tan, which I really love that look. I used to use a lot of like orangey bronzers, but I prefer something that's a little bit more brown just because I feel like it looks more natural, you know? I feel like my face looks so yellowy like on camera, but like in person it matches. That's the thing with these lights. Like I feel like you guys never really get like a perfect look at colors and stuff because these cameras and the lights. Now for blush, I'm gonna go in with the Catrice and Iman collab. I still love this collab. It's so beautiful. Like I am obsessed, especially with these two blushes here on the bottom. I know they look very bright, but if you're very light-handed, you can definitely make it work for like every day. Clearly this is not an everyday makeup look, but I think these blushes match perfectly with what we have going on. So I'm using this brush from TJ Maxx. Actually, I've had it for years, and I'm just kind of stippling that blush right on the apples. Then for a highlight, I'm gonna go in with one of my fave high-end ones. This one is Cookie from Benefit. If you know, you know. This is such an intense glow. I love the fact that they did come out with this in a single highlight form because it was in their Cheek Leader Bronze Squad palette, I believe that's what it's called. And I loved that palette. I still love that palette, but I was running out of the highlighter in there, and I'm so glad that they came out with it. I mean, look at that. That's like intense. That's a little too intense, but I did a lot purposely to show you guys how good it is. And this brush is from Equate, actually. I got it at Walmart. I think I want something actually a little bit more golden today with this look since it's so warm. Just to make that a little bit less icy and a little bit more golden, because I feel like it's just gonna go better with the eye makeup. I'm gonna use some of my e.l.f. and Nabella collab, the loose highlighter. I love this. It's super, super intense as well. So I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna kind of go over top. Now this is crazy intense as well. Maybe I should have did this one just because it matches better with the eye look, but I mean, both of them are really, really blinding. I think it just depends on the kind of color that you're going for. For my lips, you know I gotta do a nude. So I'm gonna use my Alamar Cosmetics lip liner. This one's in the shade Dulce. I love like this like brown nude kind of color. It's perfect. These are basically like the ColourPop lippy pencil formula. Like they're really creamy, they don't break, they're long wearing, but I like this color just because again, it has like that perfect brown undertone. Now to top off the lip liner, I'm gonna use my Fenty Stunna lip paint. This one's in the shade Unbutton. I really love this formula. They have a ton of different colors, but of course this like peachy nude is my favorite. It's like the most perfect peachy nude. So I'm just gonna take this and apply it. It's a very liquidy formula, but it does dry down matte, and you only need one layer. I'm feeling a glossy lip today, so I'm going to use my Dominique Cosmetics Lemonade lip gloss. This one is in the shade, I believe it's Sweet Tea. I love how this is like that peachy kind of nude. It goes perfectly with this lip color that we have already, so I'm going to top that off. These smell so good. Final thing we're going to do, and then we're going to close off this makeup look. I know, if you're still with me through this long talking video, you deserve to get another snack. So go ahead and go get another snack. Next up, I'm gonna go in and set. I'm gonna use the Smashbox Photo Finish Weightless Setting Spray. This is what I like to call basically a sweat-proof, transfer-proof, everything-proof setting spray. I'm a big fan. A lot of Smashbox face products today, I have really been enjoying their like primers, sprays, like just everything. They're the real deal. And just like that, we are all done with this super long video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Clearly, I love these products. You can just see how much I'm rambling and talking about them. So hopefully you get to try them out and love them just as much as I do. Please leave me your holy grails down below, whether it's drugstore, high-end, makeup brushes, whatever it is. I would love to hear from you. So leave me a comment. And thank you once again to Haley's Beauty for sponsoring today's video. I will, of course, leave everything that I used in the description box. And that is it. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in a few days in my next one. Bye.